Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday. Talk openly. I'm Jack. I'm here with my wonderful friend Daniel, and we are Sangha friends at Lions Roar Dharma Center in Sacramento. And it's just really nice to see you, Daniel. It's been a couple weeks.
It has. It's very nice to see you. Hello, Jack. Hello, everybody in Talk Openly Land. It's very nice to be back.
Yeah, for sure.
It is
Yeah,
amazing how quickly things feel sort of like a little unfamiliar, though.
I know it is really weird, huh?
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
kind
how
of
does that
reminds
happen?
me. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like if I haven't been to the Dharma Center even for a short while, and I walk back in, there's always this sort of like it's a strange mixture of like familiarity and also this like remembering, like, oh right, yeah, that's what the smell is, and that's what the
Yeah.
that's the oh right, those tonkas over there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have that same feeling too.
Yeah,
Well, it's good to be back in it.
it is. It is. I'm happy to be
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Well, could you tell us what we're talking about in the second half of the show tonight?
Yeah, we're talking about recovery dharma, I think is one way to put it, or dharmic recovery. Um,
Recovery.
The 12 steps of liberation created by our very own teacher, Lama Yeshe Jinpa Rinpoche. So it's the 12 steps that are used within the recovery program at Lions Roar Dharma Center, which is unique in its own way. It's the only one, exactly like it in the world. And it's also one of our probably our most well attended meetings or events. We have three of them every week. One is on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. And then there's one on Wednesdays and another one on Friday, I believe at 6 p.m. And
Mm,
it's a really healthy group and near and dear to my heart and has been incredibly helpful, not just to me, but to many, many people. And it's also has been a sort of a gateway for some people into Buddha Dharma. And
yeah,
so, yeah, so we're going to be talking about the actual 12 steps that Lama Jinpa outlined and that is used by the program.
great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because I think I've been to one recovery group at the center like a long time ago. And I remember really appreciating the steps. I thought it was just really cool how it was laid out and still within kind of like the AA framework. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And so yeah, looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah, me too. And by the way, if your mind shut off because you heard that we were talking about a recovery program, um, don't tune out just yet. If you
Mm.
don't believe that you're addicted to something and that you're in need of recovery, then probably you should stick around and realize that we're not just talking about alcohol and substance uses. Um, we're talking about craving,
Mm.
attachment, topics that are near and dear to Buddhists around the world, and that we're all struggling with. I have yet to meet a human being who does not believe, who doesn't belong in a recovery program.
I don't know if I have either.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to this, and I also know that I will be a little bit confronted, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, it is actually pretty amazing. Even our own teacher goes and is like, "Yep, I need to be
Yeah,
here too,"
for sure. I
So
think, yeah, anyways, we'll talk about it more later,
we
but
will,
yeah.
we'll get.
Good. We'll get there. Well, how are you doing? What's life like? What's your practice?
Well, I think what I'd like to share is that I took a little unofficial solo meditation retreat
Nice.
to Wilbur Hot Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna go to Wilbur Hot Springs, right? That was the main thing I wanted to do, right? So
Yeah.
I get away, I'm just gonna relax and all that. And then I was like, well, I also have these books I want to read, and I want to do a lot of meditation, I want to do some yoga, so on and so forth. So I was like, it's kind of like it's not like an official retreat. I'm just gonna kind of blend the two.
Mm.
And it was kind of amazing. So I took a few different books with me, but the one that I actually read through and contemplated was Glimpses of Abhidharma by Chogyam Trungpa.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but one way or another, somehow I actually ended up with Lama Jinpa's book.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and it's a little, I'm gonna ask him about it because I didn't get it from him. And I didn't get it from anybody in the sangha. So it's a little,
Hmm.
how it made its way to me is kind of funny, but it's got his little handwritten notes all throughout the book. Yeah,
Whoa.
so it's kind of special. That part was fun. But so I don't know a lot about Abhidharma. I have not studied it. But this book, very lightly gets into the skandhas and how they work. And Trungpa has always had a way of teaching that just reaches me. I, it just, I don't, every time I've ever read anything by him or heard anything, any of his talks, I'm like, oh, like I feel the reverberation or whatever you want to call it, I like
Hmm.
it lands. And this was no different. So I, it was illuminating because I had nothing to do while I was there except to watch the skandhas at play,
Hmm.
right? And I gotta say, I did not like it at all.
Ah.
No,
Uh-huh.
no, no, I did not. I found it enlightening,
Uh-huh.
I thought it was helpful. It was beneficial in probably in the long run. But really just watching this crazy mind doing its thing, I thought I was beyond this, I
Hmm.
thought I was past that, I was like, no, no, I meditate and I maintain present awareness and da 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 da. But by really sort of soaking in not just the hot water there, but also in the topics, um, I really got to see them at play. And I gotta say, like, I really didn't like what I saw,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what were you seeing?
It's this, it was the way in which the skandhas, they flash, of course, very quickly, right? And
Mhm.
thankfully, I was able to, slow down enough to sort of witness the very quick evolutionary journey, which is feels like it's happening like many, many, many cycles like per minute almost, right? Like it's happening very, very quickly. And what I didn't like was the way that so Trungpa, the third skanda is so we go form, feeling, and then the third one is perception.
Mhm.
And some people call it, I think, discrimination, but
Mhm.
I like perception. And he said something in there about the way it radiates outward, right? And how Tibetan scholars have oftentimes called perception, they call it hungry perception.
Mm.
It's gobbling up everything and anything, even sort of like non appearance or non-manifested things. It's just like anything that it can get, it just like is constantly gobbling it up and relating it back to the misperceived self,
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
right? And that was the part that I really didn't like. I kept seeing that at play where, like it didn't matter. Like there would be some type of form or appearance or even just a mental like a thought, a mental formation, and there would be this like very fast gobbling up of like all of it and
Mm.
bringing it back to like what it means to me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And the good news was like, so this wasn't all bad, of course, but the way that why it was so illuminating was because I got to see then that contrasted with moments of like a respite from that, of just sort of natural awareness where that was not happening.
Mm.
And I could see how one was peace and one was suffering, right?
Mm.
And how it was unnecessary. It was, and suffering not in like, oh, woe is me, but in terms of the dukkha, the dissatisfaction, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and also just how kind of, it's childish and unrealistic, right? So
Mhm.
then, of course, after the perception obviously is not, it doesn't stop there, right? It continues on. but I felt like that was sort of the aspect of it, all of it that kind of felt really like alive for me. And and it was tiring,
I'm sure.
right? Like
Yeah.
it felt like I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, you know those pulsar stars? You
Mm.
know, they're like
Hmm.
really tight, small things, and they're spinning really, 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 really fast,
Yeah.
right? Like ultra fast. That's kind of what it felt like, right? Or what it still feels like. It hasn't actually stopped, but
Yeah.
I do have more distractions now to sort of like, distract me from watching it. But it felt like there was this alternating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between this very like I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm there's just this sort of almost like pure awareness, just things are like it's just happening and it's not coming back and relating to me. It just is, which I was like, oh, that's nice. But then like within like a split second, it's gone again and I'm out doing
Mm.
the thing, which feels like, I mean, that's like we talk about this, that's what meditation is like, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
100%.
and so that's why it was a little disturbing to me because I'm like, I can meditate a decent amount, right? And have
Mm.
different meditative experiences. But then here I am, and I'm like, I'm thinking like somehow I'm past this, and it's just my mind was just chock full of it. Like I said, just spinning, spinning, spinning. So it was yeah, it was quite an experience. Yeah.
I'm curious, do you think, and is that kind of the difference between like single pointed meditation and a more, I don't know, I don't want to define Mahamudra, but I feel like I still don't exactly know what Mahamudra is, like what that meditation practice is.
Yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't describe it either, but that is what Rinpoche has told me to focus on is
is the
Mahamudra
skandhas.
meditation. No,
Yeah.
it was on Mahamudra meditation.
Oh, uh-huh. Hmm.
And he did recommend that I read this book, of course. That's why I was
Hmm.
reading it. But yeah, Mahamudra, he oftentimes says is, meditating on reality itself. And that's, I think, when I say natural awareness, that's what I mean. Like I like just being able to sit there and just feel all of, to witness the um, like sort of the sensory, it's like sensory awareness practice, sort of like,
Mm.
just witnessing things as they are without any type of conceptual overlay. Like it's just raw, unfiltered conscious nesses or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it,
Yeah.
right? Like there's sight, sound, pressure, warmth, whatever. There's just sensations arising. And when that stuff is happening and there's no labeling going on, there's no like reflecting back on like what does this mean to me or nothing. It's just like it's just awareness of the whatever's arising. That feels like to me, and I could be wrong here, but that feels like Mahamudra, right? Like
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
very wide open, luminous, free, spacious, all the words that are used to describe that. That's what that is. That's I'm like, But
Yeah.
it's kind of it felt okay. You know how in hot springs, one of the activities that's really uh, rewarding but tiring is to go from extreme hot to extreme cold, extreme hot to
Oh,
extreme
yeah.
cold, right?
Yeah.
That's what was happening with my mind, right? I was witnessing sort of like what felt like the maybe the cool, refreshing Mahamudra, right? And then the hot, intense sort of skanda activity, like
Uh-huh.
doing its thing, right? And it was going like in and out, in and out. And so I think that
Yeah.
it was, just like the other, just like the physical process is cleansing, it's purifying,
Sure. Yeah.
it's relaxing, right? And all of that. It was very much the same thing for the mental processes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Because it's all part of it, you know. We're not, denying the skandhas or whatever, but
No.
have a more clear view. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
the skandhas don't stop, they don't cease. The way Trungpa
Yeah.
talks about it, he says, I thought it was really, he's such a good teacher. He says that for ordinary beings, the skandhas are like jammed up together, which is true. They're so jammed up together that they appear to be reality.
Yeah.
and it's only through, diligent effort and practice and meditative techniques and learning, right, that there's some space in between, just that was, I think, what was going on was I got some enough space that I could see it. I was focused on it because I was reading the book, and the environment gave me an opportunity to slow down enough and not be distracted enough that I could see exactly what he was talking about. And it was just wild to me how jammed up they are and how
Yeah.
quickly like it runs through. It feels like when you talk about it, you're like, well, first there's form,
Mm-hmm.
pause. Then there's feeling, pause.
Mm.
No, 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 no.
Mm.
No, not like
Mm.
that. It's like
Yeah, rapid fire. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's really hard to, yeah, disaggregate them. Um,
exactly.
yeah, interesting. Well, that's really cool. It sounds like a very fruitful experience, even though it was difficult.
Yeah, so my friend who really likes Wilbur and is not a Buddhist, the one who introduced me to Wilbur Hot Springs, I told her about this when I got back, and she just gave me the most disapproving look.
Like,
And
why were you meditating?
she said, "How about next time you just go and enjoy it?"
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, for sure. We can't just do that.
Wow, I just sit there and enjoy it. I don't even know what I would do with myself.
No, we got stuff to do. We got
Yeah,
practice.
yeah, yeah. That was the highlight for me, and then
Fun.
really nice actually to come back home and immediately had things to do, including going to the celebration of life for a friend of ours.
Yes.
That was on Sunday. And that was really rewarding, and I enjoyed. I've never heard our teacher give like a celebration of life sort of talk
Mm,
or whatever. So I thought that was quite special, and getting to be, to support our friend, that was nice. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Good.
So that's where I'm at. Hey, the show's almost over.
Oh my
We've
God.
we've just been
Well,
talking about me this whole time. Jack, we can't do this.
hey, I
This
think
is
this is great. This is
it,
part of it. This is,
it, I guess we have been talking openly. Okay. Okay.
yes, we have been.
Okay, but let's not. No, we're done with the. If we talk any more about me, it's going to solidify this misperceived self further.
Oh boy.
Let's put the mirror up. It's time
Okay.
now. Let's look at you.
Okay, it's me.
Yeah,
Me time.
you time.
I'm good. So kind of a fun story from Saturday. I had my second meditation group that I'm
Yay.
facilitating, and it was, yeah, it's interesting. So what I've been doing is kind of do a little brief check-in. These first couple times it was kind of getting to know people, like what are you interested in? Why are you here, basically? To just kind of see what people are interested in. Lama encouraged me to do that, get some buy-in, right?
Yeah.
And then doing a some meditation instruction, some shamatha. So kind of like the Wednesday night group was. And then after that, doing reading from a Lam Rim text on one of the Lam Rim topics.
Which text are
And
you using?
I'm using this excellent newer text, um, How to Meditate on the
Oh,
Stages of the Path.
okay.
And she put her non-Dharma name, but this is Sangha Kadro of Sravasti Abbey, and it's excellent. I really recommend it. Very like just kind of straightforward, easy to understand. So we've been using that, and yeah, but this second time, I showed up, and there was someone new, and we got talking, and we're just sharing about different practices that we do and where we've lived, and turns out we both lived in Sacramento for a long time. And we were talking about like we're at in Sacramento, and she asked me, did you go to any centers there? I was like, yeah, Lions Road Dharma Center. And she was like, oh, so you must know Stephen. And Stephen is our llama's non-Dharma name. Um, and turns out they knew each other a long, 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 long time ago.
Wow.
And this person I have no connection with. They are not in contact. And she just lives up here like I do and
Ah.
decided to come to this group. It was so
Wow.
cool, but it almost just felt like, of course. It didn't like it didn't blow my mind in the way that I think it would have maybe like, you know, 8, 10 years ago.
You're
It's
used to
just kind
those.
of like, oh yeah, of course that
Yes.
would happen.
You've had some experience with the tendrils, right?
Yes, the
Yeah.
tendrils.
The threads that connect us all.
Yeah. So it's
And
just kind of like
oh, how
really,
fun.
I know. It felt a little bit like those kind of lampposts on the path where you're like, okay, yeah, we're doing something right here. That
Yeah.
like these kind of little serendipitous
Uh-huh.
things
Uh-huh.
happen.
There are no
Um,
coincidences.
there are no coincidences, no. So that was fun, and people seem to be uh invested in the group. So we'll keep going.
Yay.
And I know.
That's so cool. Oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I haven't facilitated a group in a long time. So it's good for me because I have I have to stay up on really like the basics because people have questions, right? And I want to provide like the legit Dharma teachings and information that I have heard from our teachers, and do my best to relay that information in a way that's correct or as correct as it can be, right? So it's
yeah.
I can't slip into kind of like my own, well, here's my kind of like, modern day interpretation of this. Like I'm really trying not to do that. I want to share like classic Dharma with, of course, like we're doing, right? We're sharing like kind of the teachings, but from our own perspective and how it's affecting our lives now. So
It also means that you really can't you have to maintain a steady practice yourself.
you do, absolutely. You have to. Or you can slip into kind of like the California, like Lama likes to make fun of Californians, but like this kind of approach of like, well, I just, do what feels good. And, we're all enlightened anyway. So, why do we need to meditate if we're all enlightened? Why would I need to study the Lam Rem if we're already meditated? Or already enlightened. That was actually a question that someone had. Yeah, this person was feeling a little bit guarded and I think defensive about uh, the way that they do their practice. Which was fine. And, so I just shared why it was important for me personally to have kind of structured practice that includes study. Um, and yeah, so it was interesting. It was nice to have a little bit of like the challenge because,
Yes.
right, it
Yes.
makes you kind
Yes.
of reflect on like, well, why do I do this? Like, why
Right.
don't I just like go sit on my cushion without having a teacher or sangha or
Yep.
like, really structured dharma. And it's because I've tried that before and I went crazy, like
Yes.
almost
Yes.
literally, right? And so yeah, I need a lot of support. Maybe this person doesn't, and that's okay. I think that they probably do, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's up to them to
that's
decide.
up to them to decide. Yeah. So it's fun. I get to like, see all these different personalities and just kind of like, oh yeah, like this is such good training, ongoing training for me. And so it was a good experience and we're gonna keep going.
It is
Um,
always fun when people come in hot.
Yeah, like they've got an agenda, And it's like,
And
oh,
strong
you're,
opinions and
yes.
yeah,
Like you're here because you want to argue your opinion. How interesting. Like what happened? Why are
yeah.
you mad?
I
It's
love
really
it. Well,
fun.
there you are, from my point of view, a very well polished mirror in which people
Oh,
get to see themselves. So it's really wonderful that they get to come in there and get to sort of see themselves through you.
thanks. So I feel the same way, about them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
They might, well, it's more like oftentimes, not everybody is a well polished mirror. Sometimes they're like the mirrors in a fun house. You know what I mean?
Which those are good to look in
They
sometimes.
can be fun too. They're just
Yeah.
distorted, that's all.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's a big part of my practice right now.
I'm so glad you're doing it, Jack. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you for doing
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I feel like alongside the kind of like higher level Dharma teachings that our teacher gives us, like the Lam Rim helps me kind of stay like kind of in the foundations, right? Like the kind of how do I stay like being a good person and how do I keep in mind, you know, karma, impermanence, these things that if I don't keep them in my mind, if I'm not studying them consistently, my practice is it kind of it unravels a little bit. So Lamrim definitely helps me stay, solid. And then like these kind of higher level teachings really push me in another way. But having that foundation of the Lamrim, I think allows me to do that deeper level study and meditation. And so with that, I started the fourth volume of Gateway to Knowledge, which is an Abhidharma text. And it starts out with looking at the four seals of Buddhism, so like based on Buddhist. And the first one is about like, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. And so I've been reading that one and really trying to notice that moment by moment, it's not the same. And I realized that that sounds so basic, but like when I sit and try and really like, okay, this Buddha statue in front of me is made of brass. It looks permanent, right? It is like it's unmoving. I don't see it fading away, but it has signs of aging. Like there's some places that I know I need to polish, right? Like there's a little bit of like kind of whatever happens, the chemical aging of brass or bronze. And so it's different moment by moment. And so trying to really kind of notice, oh, every single moment is new, every single moment. And of course, I feel like the body is um, a lot more accessible way to see that because I'm like, oh, my blood is pumping. So the
Yeah.
blood is in a different place constantly, right? And kind of all these ways that we can just see impermanence happening in front of our eyes. But so that's been a little bit of my meditation
It's,
these weeks.
so much of what we do is incredibly basic, right?
Yeah, totally.
There isn't
Yep.
actually, that's what I love about
Yep.
Buddhism is it's actually, everything's pretty simple.
It
Anybody,
is.
any mind, any functional mind should be able to practice this and
Yes.
understand it, get it. It's not that simple. It's
Yeah.
really, really hard, right? It's
Right.
difficult. Because even what you're talking about there, I was thinking like every time I focus on or meditate on impermanence, I really do sort of like it's so easy to move to the things that are dynamic processes, right?
Yeah.
Like that are evidently dynamic processes. But if you look at something like that, like a solid statue, for example, on the one hand, from a scientific point of view, like, oh, there's actually a ton of very spacious atoms and electrons buzzing all, I mean, at rapid rates all around and through this thing, right? Like there's
Hmm.
that aspect of it. And then there is like the other aspect that I kind of think of is the timeline, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, so I recognize that I'm on a human timeline. I'm not on a statue timeline or a mountain timeline or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I was, all things arise, exist, and go away, right? Everything has
Mhm.
birth, existence, and death. All phenomena do. And this is true for statues and mountains and everything. So if you were, looking at a statue from the lifespan of a statue, it would be a very dynamic process. There would be the
Oh,
arising and there would be the existence, and the existence would be all kinds of stuff, right?
yeah.
Sometimes you would be hot, sometimes you would be cold, sometimes you'd be well lit, sometimes you'd be in the dark. So, there'd be all kinds of things going on there, right? And
Yeah.
even when you're meditating on it and it's sitting right there in front of you and it looks solid, it looks unchanging, and you're like, no, it's really, really solid. It's really not changing. If you examine it, what you notice is that the actual phenomena appearing to your mind is flickering like a candle,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You're saying it's
Right.
solid and you're saying it's not changing, but you're lying to yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes the phenomena looks a little bit like this, and if you really stare at it
Right.
long enough,
Right.
it begins to
Uh-huh.
look a slightly different way, and you begin to notice different aspects of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I
Oh.
know it's fascinating. Well, and yeah, the timelines too, like if a fire came through here, right?
Oh,
And burned the house down, like I mean it might be standing. I don't know what happens to bronze, but
those
I
might
think
stand. Yeah,
sometimes they stand.
sure.
But yeah, like because I remember seeing those like in LA the major fires where what was left was just like a Buddha statue.
Yeah.
There were several of those, right? But a statue can melt. Definitely a statue can melt and be destroyed. And certainly it would be changed even if it was standing. And so lifespans can be very long, and then they can also, in a moment, just completely change.
Even if the statue was untarnished by the fire and everything about the I mean, it was just like literally still gleaming, not even any soot on it, nothing like that. The table it was on burned down, and now it's on laying on its side rather than standing
Right.
straight up.
Yeah. Yep. It changed.
Something about it changed.
So it's such a good meditation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really liking this book. It's I like how it's written, and so yeah, I recommend it. Gateway to Knowledge, Mipam Rinpoche. So yeah,
Good. Good. Thank
that's
you.
basically
Thanks,
what
Jen.
I'm doing in addition
Yeah.
to just work and volunteer stuff. And
Whew.
summer's heating up in a lot of ways. So yeah, I'm
Awesome.
buckling up.
You're doing it all. I love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
Yeah.
What,
All
shall we?
right. Yeah, let's do it. Are we
Okay.
gonna do Low John?
Of course. That's what I
Oh,
meant.
great. Right, that's what we do.
What we do here.
Okay. Number 51. This time, practice the important points. Ooh, the important points. Of the two aspects of Dharma, exposition and practice, the latter is more important. Compared to all other meditative practices, the practice of training in the awakening mind is more important. Compared to training the mind by applying the two paddles of scripture and reasoning, I like that image, that's cute. It is more important to persistently train in applying the appropriate antidotes on the basis of your teacher's pith instructions. Compared to other activities, training by remaining seated on your cushion is more important. Compared to avoiding the objects of your afflictions, it is more important to probe within. It is critical for you to train in these points. And that's Sei Chilbu Choki Gyaltsen,
Mm,
um,
mm.
who lived 1121 to 89. So these are old teachings. Um,
It's actually, I'm going to relate this to something
yeah,
that feels very different from what's being said, but I think it's the same thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, in Glimpses of Abhidharma, Trungpa describes he describes in the Bardo the experience of and the Bardo of death, like after a person has died, the experience of the what's called like these two lights, right?
Hmm.
One is a very, 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 very bright light that is um, difficult to look at, so to speak, and it's coming at right at you, and it's kind of scary. And
Mm.
then there's like essentially a reflection of that light that is softer, that is more inviting.
Right.
It's not it's a reflection of the light. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like this other thing. And that our tendency is rather than to go towards the thing that will actually liberate us, which is this very strong blinding light sort of, that we move towards the softer, the easier,
Yeah.
the thing that's a little bit more comfortable for us, right? And that continues this process, unfortunately, of cyclical, rebirth after rebirth and so on. Um, I may have gotten some aspects of that wrong, but I feel like this is the same sort of thing that, in our training and our practice, there's sort of like the hard thing to do, and then there's the thing that's like it. It's they're with
Uh,
it. It's not necessarily like a near enemy or anything. It's not bad, but it's like the easier, more comfortable thing to do or whatever, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
like, I have trained in avoiding things, like avoiding the objects of my afflictions. And that type of repression or avoidance or whatever, it can be helpful, harm reduction and all that good stuff. But the
Hmm.
other part of it, it's more important to probe within. What is it? How is
Mm.
this affliction manifesting? How is this like craving showing up? Who are its parents? Like what are the causes and conditions? And, like really sitting with the sort of uncomfortable aspects of that rather than simply just avoiding. That's
Yeah.
I find this excellent advice. Don't go the easy, don't just take the easy, comfortable
Yeah,
path.
don't take the easy route. And I think too, like it's talking about, what Lama shares with us frequently is, um to not study more than you meditate. That sitting on the cushion is extremely important. We have to put whatever we're studying into actual practice. And so yeah, I think that's part of what's being said here too.
But if you really just like to meditate and you hate studying, um,
Totally. Yeah. It might be the opposite, huh? Yeah. Yeah.
still don't read more than you meditate, but do read.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think I would tend more towards what he's saying here. Like I would rather kind of intellectualize and just read a book. Whereas like actually sitting on the cushion and like trying to discover the teachings through my own application is a lot harder for me. I just like, I feel like I don't have a lot of creative energy in my
Yeah,
mind to like do it?
I understand, but don't you think that the reason why they go together is that it can be easy to kid ourselves when we sit on the cushion that we're actually meditating when we're not. We're taking sort of a break. You know,
Yeah.
maybe we're resting, maybe we're indulging in daydreaming or whatever. I find just sort of riffing off my experience from this, from this trip that I was on, that the reading is what gave something meaningful to meditate on, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that meditation without reading or without studying is not
Oh
effective.
yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. But it is, I do know that there's been times where, like, periods of time where I'm meditating quite a lot and things are, like it's not bad or anything, but that it doesn't have the momentum that
Right.
comes with, meditating after studying something.
Totally. Yeah, no, and I think that is pretty much what I meant. But more so that it's hard for me to like take something from a text, like a meditation text, and then actually do it. on the
Oh
cushion
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
or,
I get it.
go
Yeah.
over it in my mind, do an analytical meditation. I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to, like it just
I
feels,
get it. I get it
yeah, I'm like, I'm
already.
tired.
I already know this. Let
Yeah,
me
like why
just
do I
like
need to investigate if I just read it?
right? Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. Okay,
Uh-huh.
100%. Yes, 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 what you said.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Good. Well, thanks, Bojong. And let's see who
That's
we got here.
Maitreya.
Maitreya. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Future Buddha.
Future Buddha.
Yeah.
Come on, future Buddha.
Yeah. I think we got our Buddha for this lifetime, I think. I'm not sure that Maitreya is going to be coming while I'm still here.
I know. Thich Nhat Hanh, didn't he say that the future Buddha will be the sangha?
Something to that effect. And
Something
I've
to
heard,
that
I
effect,
think
yeah.
I've heard multiple sort of like um, things where it's like, don't think that Maitreya is going to come as a human being, as an
Hmm.
individual human being.
So cool.
Yeah. No.
Sweet. All right.
Shall we talk recovery?
Let's talk recovery. I'm
Okay.
excited. Um, yeah, maybe so I haven't really been to the Dharma recovery other than that kind of like one or two times. I have been to, like an AA group. Um, but I honestly I don't really know much about the 12 steps. And so I'd really love to hear how Lama has interpreted them and yeah, applied them
You
for this particular group.
you'll see the simplicity of it very, very
Mm,
quickly. Simplicity and the reasonable way that it's laid out. What I love about it is it becomes very clear very quickly that, he was clearly thinking about, a 12-step program. He's intimately familiar, just like like what 12-step programs are like. And wanted something that would be familiar to people who are in these programs, but not the same, right? And so
mm,
when you look at the 12 steps, it's composed of four things plus eight things.
uh-huh.
The four things being the four truths,
Hmm.
the eight things being the Noble Eightfold Path,
Yes.
right? And that's what's you're like,
Mm.
it seems like when you first, if you're not thinking about Buddhist really, and you're just reading this, you're like, whoa, this is really, like, this is really different. And this is, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's something here. And there is, it's true, but it's the Buddha's teaching. It's literally like the basics of Buddhism are
Yeah.
are the 12 steps. And so we don't, we can go through all of them and probably not all tonight, but basically it starts, so we'll just say the first 4 points, the first truths are the,
Hmm.
the truth of suffering,
Hmm.
truth of the origin of suffering, the truth of the end of suffering, and the truth of the path, which is, so those 4 points are the four truths within Buddhism, right? The very first fundamentals. But the
Hmm.
way that it's framed is like this. So the truth of suffering is that we experience the truth of our addiction and that our lives were unmanageable suffering. So
Hmm.
this is a pivotal point, oftentimes I believe referred to as actually step zero, right? Which
Yeah.
is this sort of you have to actually just experience. It's not saying you got to hit bottom. Please,
Hmm.
there's no
Hmm.
bottom. Don't wait to hit bottom, okay? That's not, please don't do that.
Yeah.
But that you really do have to experience the suffering of your addiction and recognize it as suffering and recognize it as addiction.
Right.
And it's not, and like I was saying earlier, like it's so of course the recovery group is predominantly, composed of people who have sort of traditional addictions, alcohol and other substances, and oftentimes behaviors like
Hmm.
various forms of compulsive gambling addictions, sex addictions, that type of
Hmm.
thing. But there are other people who show up who are like codependence, or people who have like I forget what they call it, but like credit addictions, or like financial addictions, like
Oh, sure.
spending addiction, like a consumeristic sort of addictions, food
Yeah.
addictions are common as well. Um, so these things show up in all kinds of ways. I think the real question is, um, when we look at, like, are you suffering?
Hmm.
And suffering doesn't have to be extreme. It can just be dissatisfaction. Um, and so what's the root of that decided? Like, what's the common thing and common thread there? And for most people, you'll discover that you have an addiction of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Like some kind of a craving, some type of an attachment. That's what recovery is all about. And no coincidence that that's what Buddhism is about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They're
Right.
not different things. So a Buddhist practice is a recovery practice.
Yeah. So substance use and well, and any kind of addiction, it's so tricky to get out from under because it has that, ability to briefly alleviate, at least it feels like briefly alleviating suffering. And of course, it just makes it worse. But it's kind of hard. It's like looking at the types of cravings that aren't so like obvious. Of course, when I came to the temple and decided to take refuge, I took the fifth precept and I stopped using all substances. Um, but it's been harder for me to find like what are the more kind of like insidious addictions where it's not so obvious, but they're really taking a lot from me. Um, and I know for me, like feeling like I can get enough like rest or like that I want like leisure and I don't want to have
Mm,
to work too hard. When I
mm,
get home, like I don't really want to sit on the cushion, and like so it's these kinds of like, yeah, these more for me, these kind of like under the surface ways that are making my life unmanageable. Because when I notice like when I'm not really invested in and doing my training, getting up early, right, so that I can get all of what I want to do in, there's this gradual like increase in dissatisfaction where I can see the impact that it has, right? Um, and so yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of going off course here, but I'm just noticing then I've got to do this steps for something like that where um I think that I think that I'm going to get some lasting leisure and it doesn't happen.
mm. Well, you're not,
It
you're,
just doesn't happen.
no, no, you're trying. That's the thing, is that we're all trying to modulate or
Yes.
tinker with our experience to make it be something that we want. And in
Yeah.
your case, for example, you said leisure or rest or something on that end of the spectrum. And so there's sort of course levels, like alcohol would do that for you, right?
Hmm.
Some Xanax would do that for you, whatever, right?
Hmm.
There's a number of different ways, like on a gross level, but you're not using those. So how are you still trying to? And in my case, I like to feel good. I like to be high, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so what I notice is that I am still very active in my addiction, and that was
Hmm.
actually part of what was so unpleasant about witnessing these, my mind at work during this retreat, was noticing how it was constantly looking for a high,
Yeah.
actually. That's all it was doing constantly. And so I can turn anything into, what happens is I'll take like a pleasant relationship or interaction or something like that, and I'll be like, whoa, that was really amazing. And I felt so good. And that was nice. And then I watch as I continue to like, sh I'm like a, like not shifty, but like plotting and like, ooh, how am I
Yeah,
gonna make this happen again? And what does this mean? And how am I gonna, how am I gonna make this like re make this experience arise again that I enjoyed so
right.
much, right? What, it doesn't even matter. It could be spiritual, it could come up in meditation, but it doesn't matter. I can literally get high off of anything, anything
Mm,
at all, right? And the beauty of it is that's good. It's good when bliss and enjoyment and happiness arise.
yeah.
They do arise naturally. That's how I discover that that thing gets me high, right? Like something
Yeah.
happens, I'm like, whoa, like
Wow.
that was really cool, right? Like I really enjoyed that. But then what happens is wanting to recreate that thing. Like how
Thinking that
can I,
it's a refuge. Yeah.
can I get more of that somehow, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the addiction, right? If I could just like, oh man, that was really nice. And also, oh, this is really not that nice or that whatever, fine. Like if I
Yeah.
could just accept what is, I'd be so much things would be so much easier. I'd be free from addiction. My capacity to be beneficial to other people would be enormous if I wasn't
Right.
constantly trying to create a situation in which I'm high,
Yeah. I can see how that would have really, really been irritating to to witness constantly
right?
during your time there. Um, and yeah, like how I think that's really, in some ways, what I'm focusing on tonight is like that. Um, it's not the thing itself,
No,
right? It's not the thing itself that is harmful. It's the second truth here, the truth of the origin of suffering, is seeing those things as our refuge. So like you said, rather than just being like, huh, that was a nice experience, it's that kind of like, I need that again, because that is what brings me happiness. Rather than like, I experience happiness from a contented place. It's seen like it's that, oh, happiness comes from something external, and so therefore I have to create the conditions to get that external circumstance again. And that's it's just a recipe for exhaustion and burnout and
yep.
disappointment and all of those things.
And the
Um,
kicker, Jack, the kicker in all of this is that by engaging in these addictive processes, this craving and attachment, you actually reduce your reduce the probability that those good things will come naturally.
yeah,
And B, when they do occur naturally, your enjoyment of them is reduced because you're
so
already,
true.
while you're in it, while you're eating the ice cream or whatever it is, you're enjoying that experience, you're already like, oh, it's gonna end, and how am I gonna get more? Or like there's already
Yeah,
that thing happening. If you could just be with it, oh my God, the opportunities would be endless for all kinds of happiness, right?
yeah.
All kinds of happiness that you never expected or never even imagined.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that pans out every time.
Every time.
Like it's just true. Like
Yep.
the Dharma is true here. Like, like every time that I start like kind of slacking and being like, huh, I'm
Uh-huh.
just gonna sleep in a couple
Yeah.
hours, it's okay. And instead of reading my Dharma book, I'm gonna read another chapter of this novel that I'm
Uh,
really into. And without fail.
every time.
I just feel more tired,
Yep.
less relaxed,
Yep.
right? Less satisfied
Yep.
every single time.
Yep.
And yet I still think that it's going to work. There's going to be that kind of time where it's actually going to like line up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is helpful, just to see like, wow, these patterns really they stick around.
That's right. Like it becomes more and more subtle,
Hmm.
I think, right? We have to start where we're at, right? And so if we're involved in sort of gross levels of addiction, that really has to stop, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and I would say, and I don't mean I mean this in with the greatest sincerity and truth, and that is that I really believe that substance abuse disorder or whatever you call it nowadays, right? But addiction to substances is probably one of the easiest in terms of it's hard. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
been there. Alcohol, drugs, the whole thing, right? I get
Hmm.
how hard it is to kick it. I'm not saying that it's easy, but because it's so in front of your face and it's so like there's such an objective reality to it, and it's kind of easy to see. It's a better addiction than many of the other addictions. Some addictions are supported by our society,
Yep.
right? They're encouraged by our society. And so therefore you might actually, if you were really involved in those addictions, you might actually be getting feedback that's telling you that you're on the right path. You might even be on the cover of Forbes magazine as a
Hmm.
result of your addiction, right? Whereas if you're an active alcoholic, nobody is putting you on the cover of a magazine and saying this is our hero,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no.
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 And so in that sense, those kinds of addictions are better from my point of view than some of the others. The others are
Yeah,
more pernicious.
they are. Yeah. Yeah, they're much sneakier
Mhm.
and hard to root out. Yeah, absolutely. Hmm. Well, you've given me a lot of things to think about and reflect on.
Me
And
too.
yeah, um, I am I'm going to make the commitment right now in front of you and our listeners that I am going to get up between 4 and 4:30 this morning or tomorrow morning so that I can get my practice done. Because I got to be at work early tomorrow. So I've got to wake up a little bit earlier.
So what
Uh,
are you going to do to support that goal tonight?
That's a great question. Thank you. After this, I am going to sit a little bit and then get ready for bed and be in bed hopefully by like 9:30.
Okay. If you go to bed by 9:30, then I approve of this goal.
Okay. Also, 10 at the latest, but 6 hours for me actually works really well. It's
Okay.
weird.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
the Buddha did recommend being lighter on the sleep than heavier on the sleep. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right.
all right.
Well, thanks for being my support system on that one.
We're here to support each other. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Daniel and everybody. If you have a moment to make a donation at lionsroaddharmacenter.org, we'd super appreciate it. There's always things that we need fixed at the temple and just all the programs that we offer, including all of the incredible teachers that come and visit. We support their visits. So help us out with that and we'd super appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, Jack. Bye, everybody.
Bye.